Alrighty. I think everything is started up. So I want to make sure to project. Um, so today is about. It's really not even about yesterday. It is about everything. Um, I am doing this self-aware podcast. I am trying my best to stick to it. But it has posed some pressures and different things that I didn't really expect. But I wanted to do this episode um, because because honestly, I need kind of like a journal episode. Um, I was honestly kind of terrified to do an episode by myself because I know there is no time to think. There's no, being able to check different talking points. It's like having someone else on the show makes it so much easier to kind of breathe and, you know, come back to yourself with your thoughts and be able to really like assess what you're saying, stay on track, get everything, keep everything going the way you want it to. But when you're by yourself, it's like that's it. It's you. You are uh, the person that is, you're the sole person that is going to make this entertaining. So um, it's not even really the fact that it's by myself more than it is that I just haven't ever done it by myself. So it was just a different feeling of trying to figure that out. Um, Yesterday I was definitely supposed to do right. Yeah. So that is another thing. Um, Bree is like I have to be okay with committing to doing episodes by myself. Um, apologize for my daughter if y'all can hear that, but I have to. I have to be okay with doing episodes by myself because in these beginning stages of what we're doing, um, this might be the only way to stay consistent if I don't have a guest. And I've already realized that, to be honest. But again, it was just the idea of doing it by myself. But that's just me being vulnerable about the situation. Um, Now I was definitely supposed to do the episode yesterday. To be 100% honest, I don't even know how, but seemed like we had a lot to do yesterday, and it honestly somehow slipped my mind. And um, well, no, I mean, I didn't really have a set guest yesterday, so it's not like a name drop situation. There are a few people I definitely want to get on the podcast, but I didn't have like a set agreement with anybody. Dang, that's crazy. That's crazy. Um, I didn't have anything set for yesterday. Uh, to be honest, I worked really late, And for some reason, like once I got up the next day, I was focused on getting my son, watching the Bears lose. Um, I have no idea why I really didn't have the thought to do the podcast. But what I can say is, from my own self awareness, is that it has been weighing on me heavy. So I, I want to see if I can really like recognize if I blocked it out or not. Um, be pretty much I hate that guy. Um, I think the biggest thing about being self-aware is being okay with your vulnerabilities and recognizing certain things that's going on. So if I was, and really being honest with yourself, it's not about necessarily controlling your emotions or, you know, but it's more so about being honest about with how you feel. Because if you can recognize what's going on, then that's really the first step into fixing it. So I'm here to say that I was kind of okay, and I've kind of been okay with a few weeks of not doing the podcast because of how I've started to feel about it lately. And it's not because it's not important to me. Um, it's just like the pressure of what I need to do on a daily basis, and then making sure to dedicate this time to this. What's going on here, man? Um, but what I realized to actually start alive on a Monday when I could have just let it go is that the vision I had in the beginning of this is so much bigger than me not doing this. So this is really going to be somewhat of like a journal to myself for me to go back and watch and look, so I can literally tell myself and remind myself of why I started doing this in the first place. And uh it's also important, I think, for me to really say it in this vulnerable state to you guys, because y'all can really kind of more so understand why I started it as well. But um, I really came. I felt like I had came from. I felt like I had came from like an enlightened place when I first started it. Like I really felt like a mental freedom to it when I first started it. I felt like I have this thing that I'm going through that feels amazing, and I want to share it with others so they can feel it too. And I I apologize if it ever felt like it was I definitely didn't want it to come from like a place of some kind of pedestal. I always wanted it to come from a place of a process for myself as well. Because if I was really real about everything that I've been telling you guys, I haven't been working out. I haven't been taking the best care of myself lately. I haven't really been eating healthy. And if I was really honest, like the guilt of me not caring for myself um, has made things worse on me mentally. Um, and I think that's where the pressure is coming in because how can I tell you guys to do, how can I tell you guys about certain things to do or how to get there if number one, I'm not doing it myself, and number two, I don't feel the same way I once did, um, you know, when I started to really try to express how to get there, if that makes sense. Um, but of course, relatively, my life is amazing. I'm extremely blessed. Um, but the aware part of me and a conversation that I had with someone helped me to realize that the thing about self awareness is when you do come under fire mentally, you know, your your nervous system, even if you've learned better habits and better things to do and healthier uh, ways to get through them, your nervous system, when you have anxiety, it doesn't seek what you learned. It seeks, the highest familiarity, which is, for me, like biting my nails or eating bad. Yeah, yeah, it seeks comfort. Um, or, like to play the game when I'm really anxious to kind of settle myself. Um, instead of things that I could really do that is healthy. And the things that I was doing when I first started this. Um, and to be honest, I feel like trying to do everything right and do this podcast, I do work a lot. So then getting all the way to a day off and then knowing that I have to do this, not because it's a bad thing to do or I didn't want to, but it's just the task of it. Like not having my day off to just kind of be free, if I guess if that makes sense. Like I knew this is something I had to do. And when the motivation and excitement dwindles from when I was first doing it, then I have to, it was more about me realizing the way I thought of, I was like, my vision for this is delusional on purpose. Exactly. Yeah. Get back on track. Nah. Yeah. This is the start of that. Recognizing it, moving forward from it, so I can do the podcast the right way because I got to be right to be able to talk about things um in the right way. So yeah, uh, yeah. So pretty much, I'm saying all this to say that I had a I think with things like this, you have to be delusional in a sense. Um, you have to think that what you're doing, if you want it to get to a certain level, you have to think that what you're doing is going to get to that certain level. So my vision for starting all this in the first place is to help as many people as possible to be aware mentally of what's going on, which is why I wanted to be honest with y'all about, how I've been feeling so that this can stay authentic, this can stay real. And you guys can also understand that I am also a process like we all, all of us are. Um, so I had a delusional vision for this to be the biggest that I could get it, as you know, mainstream as it can go for people to have better awareness of themselves, not to tell people what to do, but for them to really recognize what they want to do, how to process different things that happen to them, understand where they go to when they get nervous, um, and what part of it might not be healthy, and what part of it is keeping you in the same cycles. What part of it can then break out of that cycle so that, of course, pretty much you can recognize and get out of it and then become better from it. Um, which is exactly what I need to do now. So pretty much that emotional maturity for everyone was is the goal. Um, because to be honest, if I was completely real about it, and I hope I don't really like trigger anybody, but I feel like so many of our people, um, minority wise, are controlled by their emotions. Whether it's from this country, um, I truly feel like, um, even down to like the president, if he, anything political, like when you want to get votes, you manipulate how people feel about you, whether you want to do good or not, so that they can vote for you. And it's a it's a big example to basically say like a lot of people need to be self-aware. I'm not saying I'm gonna be the one to help everybody to do it, but I'm definitely gonna try. Something I know that I said early on when this first started is, if I can help one person from this to get to their full potential, that's, like, that's the biggest thing. If I can help millions, I mean, I can't even really describe how that would feel. I don't really know. But that's the delusional vision I really have. Because if we can get out of our own way, the way I was not in my way before, the way I was working out, the way I was, uh, treating my loved ones, the way I was uh, mentally, physically, spiritually, just locked in. I want that back to be able to come from a real place of telling you guys how that feels, the way that it was before. Um, so it's something that I am going to start that I've recognized, that I have to break my nervous system's comfort to make sure I do the right things, not the easiest things. So basically, I feel like if everyone had an understanding of and knowing that basically having an understanding of like, is this something that is right or is this something that you learned? You know, being racist, for example, is something that you learn. There is no baby that, you know, comes to this planet to hate another certain person. Uh, it's programmed. It's terrible. I mean, like it's another example of, for me, people that can't all the way be self-aware. Um, honestly, with I'm a take like another 5 minutes to really like just talk to myself. But you started this for a reason. You know the end goal. You know how important this is. You know the vision that you have. You know that you have fallen off. And you know that you have to get back on the horse. You know that there's nothing to it but to literally just start. Um, and whether this podcast stays at the size that it is now, or it grows to be something insane, the most important thing is for me to make sure that I'm taking care of myself, to be able to take care of my loved ones, and to put the right time into this podcast from a point of view where I know I'm doing the right things. Um, I need to make sure that I remember always why I started this, um, to really help as many people as possible, um, to break bad things that we've learned, even things that feel inconsequential, um, things that you feel like you're not hurting anyone else. But if you are stunting yourself, not growing, you've had plans to do certain things the last 5 years and there are no steps going towards it, find what is stopping you. Dig deep, pray, internalize it, just close your eyes, meditate. Whatever you have to do to go in depth on why it's not happening is the most important time that you'll have with yourself. Um, you don't have to necessarily believe in what I believe, but I can tell you, even science can only go so far. Um, I think I can't remember where I heard this from, um, but I know I heard something that was really good to me, to where pretty much said even science can only go so far. And at that point, even with the smartest people, the only thing that you can have after that is faith. So thank you, Mama, reading everybody's messages. But I guess from there, that is what I will pretty much close out with. Um, I'm here because I love you all. Um, and I will do better with loving myself in actions. Um, to not be satisfied with where I'm at. There's a lot of people that honestly want to help me with this, and I appreciate everybody that has and that will. And I'm just gonna set out. I have to be very intentional about just setting out all the time I can to really do great things with this the way that I want to. I have to keep moving forward. That's right. Appreciate that, Steve. He says you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. So appreciate you guys. I just wanted to get on here and stay genuine, stay real. Like I said, understand and remember my vision. Start to do the right things again, and kind of make this uh, the best part of being self-aware, which is recognizing what's going on. So I appreciate all y'all for being here. I will definitely have an episode next week, and we are definitely going to be intentional about getting things out the way that it needs to. So that is it for me. Appreciate y'all. See y'all soon.